All right, part two of our Roman numerals discussion involves the actual Latin numbers for 1 to 10 and then 100 and 1,000. And the way I kind of teach these is through derivatives, and we should be able to identify certain derivatives, and I have you doing those in one of our exercises this week. But you can notice probably a number of English words that come from each of these. Another thing that's helpful is those of you who know a little bit of Spanish, even if you know very elementary Spanish, you may know the numbers from 1 to 10. You can't help but notice the similarities between unus, duo, tres, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novem, and decem, and the Spanish numbers from 1 to 10, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, and diez, very simply. And then same thing here with 100 and 1,000. I've kind of prompted you to a couple of those forms here. You can also see cien, for example, in Spanish. You could see cent and percent, mille, millipede, and so forth. We'll be talking about a lot of those derivatives in class. So as far as the numbers from 1 to 10, 100, and 1,000 are concerned, I have you connecting them to Roman numerals. I also have you using derivatives, using familiar words that come from these Latin words to learn them in Latin. Moving down here, it says that the Romans didn't have a word or a symbol for zero per se. I actually have a Snapple fact, a Snapple cap I keep on my clipboard. In class, it says 0 is the only number that cannot be represented by Roman numerals, and that's true. That's a true Snapple fact for once. They would just use the word nihil, which, as you can see, I kind of left it blank because it's a new vocab word this stage, in stage 7, or nullus, which would be none. The reason for this is the Romans were really only focused on counting numbers, counting the number of soldiers you have, counting the number of sheep you have, for example, and you can't have like negative sheep. They would just say you have 3 sheep, you have 12 sheep, you have no sheep, or you have nothing. So just know they're focusing on counting numbers, and there's no specific Roman numeral for 0. You're just using the language. You're using nihil and what it means in our vocab list, or nullus to say I have none of something. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about math problems, and when we get to that point, maybe you can come back to this video, and we're going to use these numbers that we connected with derivatives above and just kind of do some math, all right? Like I said, I have 12 sheep and 4 pigs. All right, how many do I have? And so the Latin words et, which simply means and, as I would hope we know at this point, or plus, which is plus, it means more, is simply a symbol for plus. De, which literally means from, we'll see that eventually, or minus, which means less, is minus. And with de, as I say here, you have to flip the numbers. So, for example, if you see something like tres de septem, it's not 3 minus 7. Again, you can't have negative sheep. You can't have negative soldiers, but you're flipping it. So it's saying 3 from 7, or 7 minus 3. And then if you see sunt, it's going to mean r, as we know, and that's essentially an equal sign. Tres et, or tres plus septem sunt, 3 and 7, 3 more than 7 are. So again, thinking of it more like I have 3 sheep, 7 pigs are. What's the total number that you have? That would be, I have 10, or the number would be 10. So we'll come back to these, the math problems. For now, just focus on learning the numbers from 1 to 10, especially as we move forward with the topic of Roman numerals.